Hey, what's going on everyone? How you guys doing today? Welcome back to this new video. And today we're going to be talking about a brand new weapon. Yes, we're talking about the Slammer, the brand new sword in this week's Nightfall. So the Nightfall this week is the Corrupted, and it brings the brand new Bolted sword, which has, it has the community pretty excited. And for a good reason, since pretty much is being just hyped up because of one perk specifically. So today we're going to be taking a look at what are the best perks that you can get on this weapon, what are the perks that you should be looking if you're looking for a god roll, and we're going to have like a mini review after the fact. By the way, if you guys are new to the GMs but still want to grind for this sword, I'll leave a link in the description to my Corrupted guide video, so you guys can see how to get through the Corrupted easily, even if you've never done the GM before. But without further ado, let's get started, and let's start looking at these perks and seeing what the god roll is. Alright, so we're gonna be starting off with the blade perk. And we have the standard perks that the swords usually have. We have Hungry Edge, Enduring Edge, Honed Edge, Jagged Edge, and then Tempered Edge. I would recommend that you go for either Hungry Edge, which gives you increased ammo, or Honed Edge, which gives you a little bit more impact, so you do a little bit more damage. I think those two are the best ones for the blade, and they're just gonna be the ones that are gonna give you the most without taking anything away. Now moving on to the guard, we have Balance Guard, Burst Guard, Enduring Guard, Heavy Guard, and then the Swordsmaster's Guard. The best one's definitely gonna be the Swordmaster's Guard. You get charge rate with it. It's like the only guard that gives you charge rate, and you also get a bit of guard resistance and guard endurance. So if you have Swordmaster's Guard, definitely put it on. But to be completely honest, the guard's probably the one that's gonna make the least amount of impact on the sword. So even if you don't get Swordmaster's Guard, some of the other ones are still pretty decent. This is the perk that's gonna affect the sword probably the least. But if your roll does happen to roll with Swordmaster's Guard, then definitely equip it. Now let's move on to the actual perks that matter, the trade perks. So let's take a look at them. Looking at this first straight column, we have Attrition Orbs, dealing sustained damage, creates Orbs of Power. We also have Relentless Strikes, landing 3 light attacks in a short time will give us some ammo back. We have Eager Edge, after switching to the weapon, we have increased launch distance, Eager Edge is a fan favorite. Next though we have Pugilist, final blows with this weapon, generate melee energy, and whenever you deal some melee damage, to improve the weapon's handling. We also have Chain Reaction, whenever you get a kill, it does an explosion matching your subclass. And the last perk on this column, we have Thresh, killing combatants with this weapon, generate a small amount of super energy. So every kill you get with this weapon, you'll get just a little bit more super energy. And for sure, I think the best perks on this sword are probably going to be Relentless Strikes, for whenever you do 3 light attacks to get some ammo back, or Eager Edge, for get that increased launch distance. Those two I think are going to be the best ones that you should be going for. If you want a more boss damage DPS focused sword, then Relentless Strike is going to be it. That's pretty much what you want to go for. If you are going to be using this sword, not used for boss damage, but just running around killing ads, maybe taking it into PP, then Eager Edge is going to be the one that you want to go for. I could also see Chain Reaction being good, again, for more of a, I wouldn't say run and gun, but that seems kind of a weird sentence to say with this sword, considering you're not gunning anything down with a sword. But yeah, if you're just running around, getting some ad kills, doing a bit of ad clear, then Chain Reaction also be pretty good. This sword also has Attrition Orbs, which is something I looked at, but it just takes way too many hits to activate. It's like 10 hits to make an Orb of Power, and that would only activate really on the boss. And like I said, if you are looking for a boss sword, you want Relentless Strikes. That's just kind of what you want. It's just gonna give you the most. And yeah, that's it for the first perk. Relentless Strikes and Eager Edge are definitely the best ones. But, there's a case to be made for Chain Reaction if you're not doing any boss DPS. Now let's move on to the second trade perk. The first one is Cold Steel. Power sword hits, slow targets. And there's a little bit of confusion with this perk because it says power sword hits. That does not mean like a heavy attack. That means just having ammo on the sword. So your light attacks will also slow targets. It's not just like a heavy attack only type of thing. I know I saw a couple of people talking about cold steel and if it activated on light attacks or not. It activates as long as you have ammo. The next perk is one for all. When you hit 3 different targets, you get a damage buff. It's a 35% damage buff, which is pretty good. This one's mostly gonna activate when you're like just running around killing gnats. This one's not really gonna be like something that activates during the DPS phase. So even though it's a really big damage buff, I don't think it's gonna be that effective. Next though, we have collective action. This one gives you a 20% damage buff whenever you pick up either a tango or any elemental orbs like the fire sprites, the ionic traces, the stasis shards, the void breaches, and this can pretty much, with the right build, make it so you have like a permanent 20% damage buff, which is, it's pretty good. Always having a 20% damage buff, that's not bad. Especially just how easy it is to make stasis shards with some builds. I could definitely see this being like a perk that some people go for. Next up, we have permeability. Using your class ability changes this weapon's type to match your subclass. And I think permeability has some potential, but because of the perk that it goes in, I don't think it's gonna be that great with this sword. You are really losing a perk slot, and the good perk slot, the one that has all the damage perks, to just change your sword's elemental type. So I don't think probability is that great on this one. It has potential, the perk itself has potential, just not on this sword. Next up, we have Demolitionist, which is gonna give you some grenade energy back whenever you get a kill with the sword. This one's gonna be pretty good if you wanna just have your grenade constantly up, but you're not gonna be taking advantage of the second part of Demolitionist, which is the reload effect, because you don't really reload a sword. So I don't really see Demolitionist being that great. And lastly, we get to pretty much the perk that you're gonna be looking for in this slot, to be completely honest with you. And the reason people were so excited for the sword, bait and switch. Dealing damage with all equipped weapons within a short time gives this weapon increased damage. So you get a 35% damage boost for 10 seconds for simply using your 3 weapons to DPS. This, combined with Relentless Strikes, is gonna be a DPS machine. This thing is gonna be insane in PvE for any like boss phase where you're actually able to use swords. So yeah, if you really want this sword to be effective in the end game and do any type of like big damage, then bait and switch is gonna be the perk that you go for. Bait and switch is pretty much just on its own level, and then all the other perks in the slot on a level below it. I like Cold Steel and Collective Action, but definitely are like more running around, killing ads, maybe killing some champions type of perks. Not something that I would see me using in the DPS phase. For a DPS phase, you definitely go with bait and switch. So my go-to god roll will definitely be something like this. Honed Edge, Swordmaster's Guard, Relentless Strikes, and then bait and switch. This thing will do some insane DPS, especially somewhere like Crota. This is a sword that's definitely going to be putting some DPS, and I expect to see it in any boss fight where you can actually use sword. Thankfully, the Masterwork can only get one Masterwork, and it's just Impact, so you just do more damage. And, if you're doing some DPS, you're going to be putting on some of the big ones. So, the Masterwork in the mod, pretty easy. We don't really even have to think about it that much. But yeah, that is the Slammer. And after playing a little bit with it, I gotta say, I'm a big fan of the Slammer. It's been a while since I used like a Vortex frame. Most of the time I use them for like the DPS phases. That's mostly what they were used for. But this one, actually, because of some of the other perks that it's got, like Cold Steel, Eager Edge, Collective Action, Chain Reaction, you can actually use it on some other activities where you just kind of like running around from spot to spot, like GMs, or just any other activity that doesn't require like too much DPS, it's really nice that this sword can actually do both of them. You can have some good rolls that you can run around and some lower power activities, and you can also have some rolls for some optimal DPS when it's time to do some DPS. But anyways, that's gonna be it for today's video. That is the Slammer Adept. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel in case you guys haven't already. Let me know in the comments below what is the role that you're going for on your Slammer. Although I kind of have a sneaky suspicion I might know. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Appreciate you guys stopping by. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.